In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Greetings to all ladies and gentlemen with respect and courtesy. One of the points I want to raise today might be interesting for you and could also help you a lot in managing the challenges of life. It is an issue that I believe is quite fascinating, and it relates to our neglect of the powers we possess. There are certain powers within us that many people never realize even until the end of their lives. Naturally, when we do not recognize our own capabilities, we cannot use them. And when we do not use them, we do not benefit from them either. One of the powers that God has placed within humans, and I urge you to pay close attention to it, is the power of suggestion. Suggestion is incredible. You have surely heard many times that for something to happen within us, we must suggest it to ourselves. I want to explain this further and dedicate this special video to exploring this topic both scientifically and religiously. We will examine this phenomenon in some depth, which I believe you will find very interesting. To introduce this discussion, let me refer to an extraordinary statement from Imam Ali in Nahj al-Balagha. In Sermon 157, Imam Ali says, "With certainty, the highest aspirations are attained. Pay attention. With certainty, you reach the peak of your desires." This means that if you have certainty, you can achieve the highest of your aspirations, on the condition that you truly believe. Keep this in mind as an introduction, and let us now discuss the personality who introduced the placebo theory to the world of science. I want to talk to you about Émile Coué, a French figure to whom the placebo effect is attributed. What is a placebo? Let me give you a very simple example, drawn from an experience that you or people around you might have had. Imagine someone, unfortunately, has an accident and sustains an injury, perhaps a broken hand with severe bleeding. They are taken to the hospital, and because they are in intense pain, they scream and make the hospital environment chaotic. The doctors lay them down and inject a painkiller. Many of these painkillers contain morphine, which is a type of narcotic that induces numbness. From a scientific perspective, if a human body receives multiple doses of morphine or similar drugs via injection, addiction will occur. However, because the pain is so severe, they administer the painkiller to provide immediate relief. Doctors usually say it contains morphine, though I am not a doctor myself. I study research articles and report their findings to you. The first injection brings relief, and the person feels better because the pain subsides. However, after a few hours, when the effect of the drug wears off, the pain returns, and the person starts screaming again. If they were to administer the same injection again, as I mentioned earlier, it would lead to addiction. So, what do? They tell the patient, "Don't worry, we will give you the same injection again, and you will feel better." Then, they inject a substance, often just distilled water, which has no narcotic or pain-relieving effect. However, because the patient believes they have received the same medication, they start feeling better. This is suggestion. This is belief. The term belief, which we referenced in Nahj al-Balagha, is crucial here. The patient believes they should now feel better, and they do. Such substances, which have no pharmacological effects but induce similar results, are called placebos. They are not real medicine, but they act as medicine due to the power of suggestion. Let me share a personal story, but please do not try this yourself. It involves giving a pill to a friend. I had a friend who was very sensitive. Knowing his personality, one day when he was my guest, he complained of a severe headache. He said he had forgotten his medication and was unsure what to do. I told him, "I have a very strong pill, but because it is so potent, I will only give you half of it with a glass of water. Just trust me. You will feel better within 15 minutes. I brought the pill, cut it in half in front of him, and handed it to him with a glass of water. Trusting me, he took it. About 10 minutes later, he said, "Wow, this is such an effective pill." I asked, "Do you feel better now?" He replied, "Yes, I feel great." Do you know what that pill was? It was just regular aspirin, completely ordinary aspirin. But because I suggested to him that it was a powerful pill, it worked. These things are significant. Suggestion has a profound effect. Amir Coué introduced this theory, which was later formally recognized as the placebo effect. His key point was that beliefs matter and have influence. Our words create beliefs. Words carry weight. Words have effects. For example, if I suddenly yell at someone in an aggressive tone, they might feel frightened, and they might say, "I got goosebumps." Goosebumps are a physiological reaction, but how did they happen? I did not physically touch them. I just spoke. Or, when we get angry, we turn red. This change in skin color is caused by words. Words create emotions, and emotions affect the body. Words are sound waves, but they leave a real impact. At the end of this video, I will provide you with a video about the rules of the brain. Please watch it because it contains extensive discussions. If we understand the rules of our brain as part of our existence, we will see that many of the problems we face can be controlled and solved. One of the great powers that God has given to humans, and which we often neglect, is the power of suggestion. Amir Coué, through his experiments in the 1920s, gained worldwide fame. Look up his articles on the internet and read them. He had a famous phrase that I want to share with you. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. He advised repeating this phrase regularly. Suggest it to yourself. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Belief is important. In one of the scientific reports I read about suggestion, the study described an Olympic weightlifter who had set a world record. After achieving the record, he was told, "Now we will add 5 more kilograms to the weight you lifted." This made him nervous, as his previous lift had been incredibly challenging. When he attempted the new weight, he failed. Later, he was told, "We will now reduce the weight by 5 kilograms. Believing that the weight was lighter, he lifted it easily, when in reality, the weight was not reduced at all. Instead, 5 kilograms had been added. But because he had suggested to himself that it was lighter, he succeeded. Suggestion is incredibly powerful. I urge you to read scientific reports on this topic. If you are familiar with English, search for these studies. With today's translation tools, language is no longer a barrier. Read the scientific papers and be amazed at the hidden powers within yourself that you may have been neglecting. These are essential insights.